I would like to warmly welcome you all today. And I think that this meditation masterclass gives us a unique opportunity to share techniques, ideas, thoughts, which each one of us can use in our day-to-day lives when it comes to maintaining our well-being. Now, last week I went into some detail about meditation and about creating focus. So I would advise those who are here for the first time to listen to last week's recording, because you will get a full background. But for the benefit of the newcomers today, I thought I'll recap our last week's learning in a very short capsule and then move to a new lesson today. Now, we addressed the question on what is meditation. And meditation is about making oneself whole. And what do I mean by that? We exist in the material plane with our body and mind. And then at the unseen plane, which is our higher self, that is our spiritual existence. Now, we are all so engrossed in the mind of the material world that we often do not take the time to reflect on our higher selves, the real us, the timeless us. Because in the material world, everything is governed by time, by change. But our higher self is still and timeless. And when I say meditation makes us whole, it's because it's an opportunity to build a bridge of introspection that takes our material level and combines with our spiritual level, completing our entire being. So it's very important that we all achieve that wholeness. And meditation is a very peaceful, tranquil way of getting there. It also will give us an opportunity to recalibrate our very noisy minds. And I'm going to share with you techniques today on how to do that. Now, last week I talked about the mind as having three core levels. The first is the lower level mind. And at this level, it is thoughts that allow us to survive. It's basically everything we need to sustain ourselves in this material world. Those thoughts take birth in our low level mind. So if you're hungry, for example, the thought goes, I'm hungry, I need food. You may have your meal, that's satisfied. So it's very basic, survival-oriented thought. But that is the noisiest level of our minds, very, very noisy. And so we have to work to silence that level completely. Then we go to the higher level mind, which is where we make bigger, broader decisions. And decisions involve our investments, where we live, our careers, our goals, because there we put together so many different variables and make decisions from there. So it's a higher level thought. And then the third level is our intellect, which is the highest level of our mind. And this intellect is where inspiration flows from the fourth level to the intellect. This is how we are inspired. This is what separates us in terms of highly intelligent beings. It's that level of the intellect. And it's the border between our mind and our higher self. And that's the bridge we then finally cross to the fourth level. And the fourth level is what I call our super consciousness. Now we all, use maybe 12 to 14% of our mental capacity. And imagine what's happening with the balance 88. And I believe that the super consciousness exists within that 88%. So when I talk about making ourselves whole, we're going to make the 12% catch up with the 88 so that we become 100%. Now, meditation is going to help us go from this world of chaos to complete stillness. And this is the bridge of introspection we're going to work towards together to build today and in the upcoming classes. And those of you who can listen to last week's recording, you'll get a very nice introduction to it. The next thing we covered was focus. What is focus? Focus is the process of shutting down all the dimensions of thought at our material mind, leaving behind only one channel, and this is that singular channel through which we flow through the bridge of introspection to the higher levels. So it's narrowing down to that one singular channel. Now, also, when we think of our mind and we think of creating focus, I'd like you to imagine that you walk into a room that's filled with boxes from the floor to the ceiling. And at the end of this room is a window that looks out to beautiful sunshine. But this room is highly cluttered. And so we've got to declutter the mind. If you remove the boxes, get rid of the clutter, when you walk into the room, you're going to see sunshine. You're going to see light. You're going to be happier. So decluttering is also a huge benefit of meditation. Then we talked about the levels of focus. And there are 4 levels that we are going to go through. And the first level, as I explained last week, is the level of stillness. Now, this is the level where your mind goes to a complete still space, where the noise stops. Now, if you think of your higher self as being completely still, your higher self is observing your material life from a position of complete stillness. And if you can think about bringing your mind to the same level of stillness, now you're at the same base as your higher self. So you're opening the way for you to flow through that bridge of introspection. So the first level is stillness. And in today's lesson, I'm going to focus a lot more on that. The second is clarity. And clarity is achieved by detaching from, and this comes to the higher level of our minds, by detaching from the world that we live in, all the worries, the friendships, the life, our loved ones, all those who occupy our conscious moments. We need to detach from that and set it aside for now. Because when we finish our meditation, it's always there waiting for us, but we're going to come back more enriched. So the first detachment is from your material world. The second detachment is from your past. Your past, where all your memories exist. Happy ones, challenging ones. And usually when you're sitting quietly and in peace, it's usually the memories that come and hit you, and then you go into a tailspin. And often I say to people, take a moment and sit quietly on an armchair and see how long you can sit quietly before your mind goes into a tailspin. And some people can sit for longer, but most say, wow, after a few moments, they come in, those thoughts. But a lot of them have to do with the past. So we detach from that, and we detach from the future. So that's the level of clarity. We're going to go in greater detail on clarity in next week's class. But there you detach from the world, from the past and the future, leaving you completely immersed in the present, which is the only time you are truly alive, which is a time of highest potential. And that's where, with stillness, we rise to the third level of focus, which is the level of oneness. And this is the level where you're now engaging at the interface of your intellect. And remember that this is a level where you become one with your spiritual being meeting your material conscious mind. Because anyway, as you journey higher, whatever you perceive is perceived through your conscious mind. So when your spiritual being meets your material being, that is the level of oneness. And at that level, you're also one with all of creation. You become one soul. And the only thing then that separates us from each other is just our physical forms. But at the state of oneness, we are experiencing that complete unity. And that will be expanded upon in great detail in the third class. And finally, there is the level of linkage, which is the highest level, where you focus on a word. And this word is one that you completely believe deep down in yourself represents the name of your source, your creator. Now, you can think about it from a religious point of view, in which case words, options such as God, Allah, Krishna, Ram, Om, Father, all these words that we associate in whatever religious background we come from, need to choose that one word which you completely believe is your source. And if you want to practice meditation from a non-religious perspective, then optional words are origin, which is the source, source itself, universe, nature, whatever word you truly believe, that's the word of linkage, where we will go into the energy of that word and use that to complete the bridge. So these are the 4 levels of focus. And towards after Q&A, we will do a meditation which engages all of them. It'll be the same that we did last week, but now we will have a better or a deeper understanding of one of these 4, which I'm going to teach you or share with you some tools which you can use in your day-to-day lives. So remember, the 4 levels are stillness, clarity, oneness, and linkage. So today, let's move on to the concept of anchor thought. What is anchor thought? If I ask you, how are you? You're going to say, I'm fine. But that's a meaningless response. What does fine mean? It means very little, but we have all been conditioned, no matter how we're feeling, we say, I'm fine. But you've got to ask yourself, what is your state of mind and your state of being at the moment when I ask you, how are you? So you should be saying, I'm happy. I am at peace. That defines your state of being. I am in love. Defines your state of being. I'm frustrated. Okay, that means I've got to do something about it. So we've got to become totally conscious of our state of being. Now, when we look at that consciousness, we have to anchor our thought. We have to anchor that state of being into that present consciousness of ours. So up to now, we have lived life by feeling our way through time. And sometimes if we are hurt or upset or down about something, we may lose days feeling really low and missing so much rich opportunity that life offers us because we're down, until we then realize, why am I in this space? How do I snap out of it? Because remember, every day is one less day to live. Time is so precious. And, it's flying by us. It's flying by us because we are feeling our way through life. No, now let's start consciously living our way through life. So every time you come to a new year and you go, wow, that year passed so fast. No, we shouldn't be saying that. If we lived every moment in the present, our time will slow down. Our year will not fly by. So this lesson of today is fundamental in terms of achieving happiness, peace, abundance, but in every living moment. Now, Let's learn about how we build this anchor. So we come to that first level of stillness. Now, as I explained to you earlier, that stillness is a level where we are at the same baseline as our higher self, which is completely still. And our spiritual being and our mental material being, when they are in stillness, they can communicate. We can draw energy from that. We can draw power from that. We can anchor ourselves consciously into a state of being whatever we want it to be. We are empowered. Now, so if we look at the power of stillness, there are two analogies I would give you. One is if you imagine a cyclone whirling at very high speed, we should not be the accidental object spinning around, bouncing around our lives. The true power of the cyclone lies in its center, in its core, and its core is completely still. And when we work with anchor thought, we are going to live in the core. Our life is not going to be a series of accidental coincidences and experiences. They are going to be conscious experiences. What's going to happen will happen, but what we learn from it, how we perceive it, how we deal with it, how we respond to it is going to change. We will respond to everything from a more enlightened level. So let's aim to be at the center of the cycle. The other analogy is you think of the storm in the sea, massive waves and chaos, but you go to the bottom of that same ocean and it's completely still. But from that level of stillness, the whole ocean is driven. Let's start living consciously at that level. So what I want to do is share with you a technique where you can anchor your thought in peace, in happiness, in abundance, and then you can try anchoring yourself in many more. So I would like to share with you an example from my second book, Parables from the Origin, because it's very pertinent to anchoring ourselves. And this is a story of a young girl, Sarah, and a young boy, Ibrahim, who are wandering around the forest before humanity has become what it is. They are the only two living human beings. With them is their teacher, the third one. The teacher, during the day, teaches them the laws of the forest. And at night, the teacher teaches them higher things about themselves, spirituality. Now, one day, as Ibrahim and Sarah are walking through the forest, they come to 7 trees in a circle. And in the middle of those 7 trees is a beautiful, crystal clear fountain flowing out of the earth. Now, Sarah has always known that the forest gives you everything you seek. That garden with all its low-hanging fruit is yours to take. So she goes and tries to get a drink of water and is very upset because it is not water. And yet it's, crystal clear spring. So she looks at the teacher and goes, "This is not water. This is not real." And the teacher says, "Today it's time for you to learn about this spring." He said, "Look at the spring. What is it doing?" She says, "It's coming from the core of the earth and it's flowing. And it's surrounded by these 7 trees that go up to the sky and their roots go deep into the earth. And it's flowing." And the teacher says, "After today, this forest will be filled with people like you. It will no longer be a forest. But the law of this," and he calls that spring the eternal pool, "will always be there, through which you will be completely sustained. So you will receive from this eternal pool knowledge, resources, abundance, wealth, everything that you need to sustain yourself happily in this world will come from this eternal pool. But there's one law. It must flow. When you receive from your left hand, and the abundance comes to you, always give a part of it from your right hand. So as long as you give, and giving doesn't necessarily have to be economic only. A smile when someone is down. If you're a doctor, help someone who is distressed and in trouble. Giving. Now, if you receive and you give, you become part of the flow of the eternal pool. Now, I remember sharing this at the lecture, and I got an email after from someone who said, it changed my life, because one of the things he was doing was, while he was receiving, he was never giving. And the day you dry up from within, the day nothing works, ask yourself, am I connected to the eternal pool? Are both my palms open? Or is this one open to take and this one closed? Because if it's closed, you will come to a point where things will dry up in your life. And he said he started giving, and his whole life changed. And before, every venture he tried failed. Now he began to taste success. But the flow of the eternal pool nourished him and his family in such a way that he just went from strength to strength. So if nothing works in your life, ask yourself, have I disconnected from the eternal pool? Now, how does that work with anchor thought? Remember, if you receive from left arm, so let's say abundance flows through you from your left arm. It flows through your being, every cell of your being, and it flows out from your right arm. You become part of that circle. And once you become part of that circle of abundance, it will always flow through you. You will be abundant. You may not be as rich and wealthy as you want to be or you would like to be, but in your inner self, you will be very rich. Every dollar you spend is going to bring you far more satisfaction than the hundreds that doesn't bring you anything. It's like drinking water. Some waters quench your thirst, some do nothing. So being part of that flow is creating that circle. This is why so many religions talk about giving, charity, tithe. You're not doing anybody any favors when you give. You are doing yourself the greatest favor because you are part of the flow of the eternal pool. So when we practice this meditation, we're going to practice on peace, happiness, and abundance. So I'd like you to stretch your arms out and look at your left arm. And everything will flow to you through your left arm. So if it's peace, peace is going to flow through you. And then peace is going to flow through your entire being, touching every cell of your being. And then it's going to flow from you and making you part of that powerful circle of peace. You cannot break a circle. It's that powerful. And you anchor yourself in peace. So when I ask you, how are you? You will say, I'm at peace. And you get to choose what state of being you would like to be in. When you wake up in the morning, you decide, where am I anchoring myself? And so we will do the meditation of peace. We will do happiness. We'll do abundance. And then I will open up for Q&A. And after Q&A, we will practice the full meditation like we did last week, going from stillness to clarity, to oneness, to linkage, and we will experience that peace that comes from these 4 levels, and then we'll conclude today's meditation. So now I'd like you to sit back, be at complete peace, close your eyes, and breathe freely. Breathe completely freely. Be completely relaxed. Be at peace. Be at peace. Breathe freely. I'd like you to imagine you're standing in front of a beautiful lake, and the sun is shining, and the water is sparkling in the sunlight. In the distance, there are mountains with snow peaks. It's a very beautiful sight. The sky is blue. There's forests in the distance, birds in the sky. It's a beautiful, beautiful natural setting. And the rays of the sun are bouncing off the water. Take a moment and look at this beautiful scene. And then you decide you want to step into the water. So while you're looking in the distance at the mountains, you're looking at the water, you step into it. And you walk for a bit until the water reaches your knees. And the water is not cold, it's very comfortable. You then look down at your knees and you see tiny little waves around your knees. The water is choppy. But you want the water to go completely still because you would like to see your reflection in the water. So as you look at the water, you repeat the word stillness. 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 And as you look at the water, it is starting to slow down. Stillness. 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 Keep repeating this word in your mind slowly and watch the water become still, still, still. Stillness. 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 And now the water has gone completely still. It is like a mirror, and you can see the reflection of your face in this water. It is completely still. You can see your reflection. You are stillness. 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 You are completely still. And then you hold your arms open, stretched out, and you repeat the words, peace, 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 peace. I am peace. Repeat slowly in your minds. I am peace. 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 Peace flows to me as it flows through your left palm. Peace flows through me. Peace flows from me. I am peace. I am peace. Repeat that on your own. From your left arm, peace flows to me. Peace flows through me. Peace flows from me. I am peace. 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 Keep repeating the word peace. You are completely at peace. You are completely still. You are anchored in peace. Peace, peace. You have become the circle of peace that no one can break. Peace. Now we will practice happiness. So with your arms stretched, you repeat happiness, happiness, happiness. I am happiness, happiness, happiness. Happiness flows to me. Happiness flows through me. Happiness flows from me. I am happiness, happiness, happiness. Repeat that by yourself. You become part of the circle of happiness. Happiness flows to you. Happiness flows through you, touching every element of your being. And happiness flows from you, spreading happiness everywhere. You are anchored in happiness, happiness, happiness. You are also completely still. Stillness, stillness, stillness. And now we will practice the third one, which is abundance. Hold your arms out and go abundance, abundance, abundance. I am abundance, abundance, abundance. Abundance flows to me. Abundance flows through me. Abundance flows from me. Abundance, abundance, abundance. I am abundance. Pure abundance, abundance, abundance. You are anchored in abundance. You've opened yourself to receiving. You've opened yourself to being abundant. You've opened yourself to sharing abundance. You are abundance, abundance, abundance. Look at the water. It is still completely still. And we anchored our thought in peace. We anchored in happiness. We anchored in abundance. Stillness, stillness, stillness. You may now open your eyes. So these are how you anchor yourself into a given state of being. You can practice this at home, at work, during the course of the day. Take a break, go still, and anchor yourself in peace. I did all three with you, but you can just do one. Anchor yourself in happiness. Every day, anchor yourself in abundance and watch the events in your life change. And be conscious. And now when you're thinking consciously about your state of being, if you're unhappy, then you're going to know you're unhappy because you're aware. You're not going to feel your way through it. You're going to do something about it. So this is how we live with anchor thoughts. So this is our lesson of today. And it's something you can practice on your own at any time. So with that, I'm going to open us for a few questions. We're doing okay for time. And then after answering some of these questions, we will then move on to our final meditation, which takes us through all the 4 levels: stillness, clarity, oneness, and linkage. So Tosin, I'll hand over to you for the Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much for that. That was really, really awesome. Enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So the way we're going to do it, guys, is type your questions in the Q&A, as you can see there. So type your questions, and we will do our best to answer as much as we can right now. And like I said before, do feel free to write your questions. We do want to answer them. We'll make the answers available on the group and on YouTube. Okay, so you can go on there and see those answers completely. But start typing the answers now, and I can ask some questions. Thank you. We've got an anonymous attendee. He says, "When I am concentrating, my heart is fluttering, and my eyes and my eyelids are moving up and down. What does this mean?"
Okay, it's a good question. I think that it may be a reflex action because you're trying to force concentration. Don't force it. Let it happen. Like when we stood in front of the lake, we didn't force the water to go still. We slowly got it there to stillness. When you try to force concentration, or you are too conscious about the concentration and actually what you're focusing on it, you sometimes may have this reflex. Now, on the other hand, it could be something entirely different. But I've been asked this question, and a number of times I have learned from people that, in fact, they're too intense in trying to build that concentration, and then you get this reaction. So just relax, because you're going on a journey of peace. And how can you discover peace in the absence of peace within yourself? So I would say that relax and try to let the concentration flow, and don't think about whether you're concentrating or not. Think about what you're anchoring, a state of being. Think about if you're seeking light, and that's where you're going. Think about what your objective is, and let the concentration follow. Because when you go through these 4 levels of focus, you actually leave all these pieces aside, and you find yourself in a very relaxed state, very light within. And hopefully you may find that the blinking may stop. I hope. But then on the other end, it could be something unexplainable. But this is the best I can suggest.
Thank you. Noor Gardner says, questions from last session. The name we use for meditation, can we use this at any time or just during the meditation?
No, you can use it at any time, because the name of your creator is just so beautiful in itself. It's so powerful. And just thinking about that name, makes your being blessed. Whether you do it from a religious point of view or non-religious, the fact that you are engaging with that source of your life energy, that deep, loving source, it's a blessing. Think of that name as often as you can. It's wonderful.
Okay. Anonymous again. What do you do if your mind wanders?
Okay, I did answer this last time. I will answer it again. If your mind wanders, and this will happen, and don't be discouraged if it does, but if we go through the preparation of stillness, clarity, which we will practice together after this Q&A, And just as we did the stillness today in some detail, next week we will do clarity in considerable more detail when you learn a lot more of how to work with it. But you go from stillness, you go to clarity, you go to oneness, and then you go to linkage. Usually, by that time, you have closed yourself to external thought because you've anchored yourself in the present completely and you've detached from all these distractions. You can stay there for a given amount of time. Sometimes you may find that you'll be able to stay there for 5 minutes, sometimes 2, sometimes 2 hours. But the length is less important, it's the quality of your focus. Now, if your mind starts to wander, then pause and try to reset it. And sometimes you'll be able to do it without going back to stillness and then working your way up to clarity and oneness and linkage. But if you find it just doesn't settle, then go back. Go down that staircase back to stillness, and then go up from there to clarity, to oneness, to linkage, and engage with the word again. And again, you will get more time out of it. And it's pure practice. And you must be very patient. Do not get frustrated with yourself, because the whole idea of meditation is to release every form of frustration that exists anywhere in your being. So meditation should not be a source of frustration. You should be patient. You should also know that when you rise to those higher levels of oneness and linkage, nothing is guaranteed. You are a seeker. You are seeking your higher self. You are seeking that connection. It's not guaranteed that you will get it. But if you try hard enough, are sincere enough, and the key is be extremely humble, then you stand the best chance of success. But success is not in your hands. To try is in your hands. To seek is in your hands. To focus is in your hands. And you will find that once you go with that attitude, everything works with you. The universe works with you. And you will be able to restore your focus. If after multiple trials you find that, oh man, and it could be because you're very tired, you haven't had any sleep, or it could be that you are in a state of turmoil, then stop. Then do not keep pushing. Go to sleep. Take it easy. And then approach meditation again the next day. Now, we talked about the times of meditation, and I was suggesting that the early hours of the morning are the best time because the energy levels of the whole world are at their lowest. So the interference, if you will, is at a minimum. So anywhere, from 4 going up to sunrise, up to the daybreak, 6:30 is a good time. And so, again, choose the right time. Don't fight it. Be patient. Be extremely humble and try. And you will end up having your mind wander less and less and less. When I started meditating, I could only do it for a few minutes. Now, it goes from few minutes to 2 hours, and that time just does not exist for you anymore because you go into a state of the timeless. And this is a process, and you just have to keep working at it. But you will find so much happiness that you'll be happy to keep trying.
Lovely. We got Priya here says, how young can children be to learn the basics of meditation?
Oh, I think this for children, it's wonderful if we can teach them as early as possible. Now, we may find that when they are extremely young, it may be difficult to sit them down and focus with them. But we can talk to them about it. We can tell them stories about meditation. I do that with my grandson. And I remember to explain who is the creator, we were looking at a frangipani flower. And so I said to him, one day, these really intelligent people decided to make a flower. And they're like angels. They said, what are angels? I said, they're very smart people. So one of them made one petal, and the other said, why don't we put five? So they had five petals. And then they said, well, it's white. We don't see any other color. You like colors? He goes, yes. I said, so another angel said, put the yellows on the inside at the core. So now it's yellow and then it becomes white. So it's beautiful, isn't it? So, yeah. Then I said, this fantastic creator said, but now we have to put scent in it. You can see the color. You can see the beauty of the flower. But now I want to give you a taste of something you can't see. So he put scent in it, and now this flower is perfect, and he loves the smell of frangipani. So we start talking to them in this way, introduce them to the concept, because then you can say, okay, now let's think about this really nice, beautiful being that put scent in that flower. Let's think about it. And then you sort of take them down that road. But as early as possible, if you introduce meditation into them, their lives are set, absolutely set. So yes, please, as soon as they can focus, even if they can focus for a minute, brilliant.
Okay, there's two more questions here I think you should answer, and then maybe we move on. But if you can answer some more, perfect. Nimla says, sometimes I have experienced a rising feeling in consciousness when I can actually feel shifts in brain waves in my head. I sense it physically almost. Have you or any of your meditation students experienced this before?
Yes, indeed. Indeed. The experiences of meditation are very personal. Everybody experiences things differently. It's amazing when you go from that noisy place to pure calmness, and now you're coming in touch with your real self. And that experience will manifest in so many ways. It will be through this sharp elevation of consciousness. Sometimes it will come as a wave of happiness, and you won't be able to contain yourself, and you find yourself bawling like a child. But these are beautiful tears of joy. Sometimes you just feel grateful for being in that space. There's so many reactions to. Sometimes you feel a surge of power flow through you, and you feel like your being is going to burst, but no, it's just expanding further and further because you're limitless. So these are all different, but it's a very personal. It's very personal for each one of us, and I would say no two people experience the same. The intensity may be different, the angle may be different, because it's what's within you. It's that you that you're coming in touch with that now you're beginning to perceive, and so you're seeing your reality. And all our realities are different, and that's what makes this journey so beautiful.
Beautiful, well answered. Hassani said he has a question here. He says, how do you set aside pain, be it emotional or physical, to immerse more fully? Thank you for your kind and generous offer of guidance.
Thank you so much. I think that the process which I'm sharing with you, the techniques, are really to push the emotions down to that level of peace, detach from them. And if we start practicing together, like the meditation we're now going to practice, these are tools that you can then use and work with. The meditation I shared with you of stillness is something you can use multiple times in a day in isolation. You don't have to do the full meditation as we're going to do now. But these tools that I'll share with you will help you kind of settle your emotions, get to that tranquil space. And then as you practice, you will gain more control over them. But gaining control not in an arrogant way, in a very nice way, where you and your being begin to work with each other. And there was one question which someone just sent a message over, is what happens if I fall asleep when meditating?
Yeah.
Well, perfectly fine. I see that happening with a lot of people. And I've even had one meditation in London, and we had like about 500 odd people. And several of them fell asleep, and a couple of them were even snoring, and they were a bit embarrassed. No, when you reach that level of pure peace, your conscious mind shuts down, and you just take it in and you flow. So your higher self takes full control, and so falling asleep is perfectly fine. And I bet you that sleep is better than sleeping for 20 hours. So if you drift off, it's completely fine. You've done nothing wrong. This is how you are reacting to letting go and taking in that really positive, peaceful energy. So Tosin, with that, I think we have time to do the full meditation.
Perfect. Okay. So, guys, like I said, keep your questions coming. We'll save them. We'll definitely answer all of your questions, but that's what we have time for right now. So let's sit back and enjoy this meditation. Thank you, Amyn.
We'll now do the full meditation. I would suggest if you can dim the lights where you are, it will be helpful. It doesn't have to be darkness, but just lower intensity light. So get yourself settled, dim your lights, and if you're already in that space, then just sit back and relax. And what we will do is we will go through these 4 levels of focus. I will leave you to meditate on your own for a few minutes, and then we will conclude. So please sit back, relax, breathe freely with your eyes closed. Be completely relaxed. Be completely at peace. Completely at peace. I'd like you to imagine that you're once again at this beautiful lake that you just visited. And the water is sparkling in the sunshine. The sky is blue. There's snow-peaked mountains in the distance. Take a look at this beautiful lake under this beautiful blue sky. It's so tranquil, elegant, peaceful. And now you walk into the lake until the water reaches your knees. And you look at the water, and it is a little choppy, but you want it to go completely calm and still so that you can see your reflection in it. So look at the water and repeat, stillness, stillness, stillness. Keep repeating in your mind, stillness, stillness, stillness. And the water is beginning to slow down. It's slowing down completely. Stillness, stillness, stillness. You look at the water now, it is completely still. You can see your reflection in it like a mirror. You are completely still. The water is completely still. Keep repeating in your mind, stillness, stillness, stillness. You are completely still. And now you start walking away from the lake. And as you look at it, it is just like a completely still mirror. As you walk away from the lake, keep repeating in your mind, stillness, stillness, stillness. And now you reach your home. And in front of you is a house with 2 floors and a terrace. And you go to the front door and you open it, and it is filled with people. There's so much talking, there's a party going on. So much talking, so much noise, so much activity. And you step into this party, but you want everything to be still and silent. And so you ask your guests to be quiet, to sit down and go into stillness with you. And so they all sit down, and it's silent now. They all go completely quiet. Your home is completely quiet. And you repeat, stillness, stillness, stillness. And they are repeating that in their minds, and everything is gone still in your home. Stillness, stillness. Complete quiet, complete stillness. And then you climb up the stairs, still repeating in your mind, stillness, stillness, stillness. And you reach the first floor and you enter this big room. And in this room there is a huge window, glass window, which is open. And the sun is shining brightly outside. And there is a table next to the window on which there are 3 boxes. These are boxes the size of a party balloon. And so you bring one of these boxes, it's very light. You just move it along the table and you stand at the windowsill and you open this box. And the box has a title on it which says World. And when you open it, you take out a white balloon with the words World written on it. This balloon represents your world, your life, your family, your loved ones, your challenges. Everything is in that world. And you place it out of the window. It has a string attached to it, and it starts to float away until the string becomes tense. And you take a pair of scissors, you look at the string, and you repeat, detach, 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 detach from the world. And you cut the cord, and this white balloon starts to float away towards the horizon. As you watch it disappear, your world is floating away into the horizon. It will be there for you when you return, but for now it must go. And you look at it with gratitude in your heart for everything it has brought you. And now you cannot see the white balloon anymore. You then open the next box, which has the word on it, past. And you take out a green balloon. And the balloon has the words past on it. So you place that balloon outside of the window and let it begin to float away. And you're holding the string until it becomes tense. And then you look at the string and you repeat, detach, 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 detach from the past. And you cut that cord. And you watch your past with all its memories, happy, sad, whatever they may be. It starts disappearing into the distance until finally you can see it no more. And now you bring the last box, which says future. And you do the same thing. You take out the yellow balloon, which has the word future on it, and you let it start to drift. And when the string is tense, you look at the string and you say, detach, 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 detach from the future. And you cut that cord. So everything to do with your future, all your worries, all your dreams, detach. And this balloon starts to disappear into the distance. Detach, detach. And now you cannot see the balloon of the future anymore. You are now in the present, the pure present. And you keep repeating stillness, stillness, stillness. You are fully immersed in the present. You've let go of your world. You've let go of the past. You've let go of the future. Stillness. And then you climb up the last set of stairs and you come to a door of the terrace and you open this door and you step onto the terrace and you look out into the sky. And now it's dark, it's night, and the sky is filled with stars and a beautiful shining moon, making the sky look silver. And you look at the moon and you look at the stars and you repeat oneness, oneness, oneness. You want to become one with the stars, with the moon, with the sky. Oneness, oneness, oneness. You are in complete oneness, oneness with all creation, oneness with the universes, all that you see and all that you don't. Oneness, oneness, oneness. Keep repeating that word in your mind. Oneness. You are in pure oneness. 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 You embody everything, all of life, all the universe. You are one, oneness. And now it is time to engage and link yourself with the word, the name of your creator. And so you see before you now pure light, bright, warm, loving light, that fills your being, that flows through every cell in your being. Beautiful light, loving light of creation. And in the presence of this light, you repeat the word you have chosen for your Creator. I will repeat oneness, I will repeat origin, but you will repeat the name you have chosen. Origin. Break that word into smaller parts that are easy to repeat. Origin. Origin. And I will let you continue on your own with the word you have chosen. Repeat it slowly and in smaller, gentle parts. And merge with that word, become that word. Keep repeating it in complete stillness, in complete peace, in oneness. Oneness, oneness, oneness. And when you're at home on your own, you can just carry on in this space, repeating that word, the name of your Creator, for as long as you wish. And I pray that you'll be blessed with much success in this journey, much light, much happiness, and that you're able to anchor yourself consciously in the present from today on. Anchor your state of being and live life to its fullest. For life is truly a blessing to be experienced. You may open your eyes. That was a very peaceful experience. I must add that when we all get together and meditate like this, each one of us brings our light, brings our energy, brings our peace into this one meditation. And so what we experience now is a combination of everyone present today. And for that, I say thank you and God bless you. Yes, I see a message here from Mira Mauji saying, thank you, I truly felt that peace. Thank you, Mira, and thank you for bringing your light to today's meditation. So with that, I would like to conclude. We have done well for time, And next week, we will then focus heavily on clarity. In the meantime, during this week, you will get the recording. Hopefully within the next day it will be uploaded. But in the meantime, practice anchoring yourself into that state of being, and begin to learn how to do that consciously. And then next week we will learn clarity, and from there we will share techniques of letting go of fear, letting go of worry. And I'll share some tools with you on how to make decisions with complete clarity by reaching out to your higher self for inspiration. So that will be on our next week's agenda for class number 3. So I thank you all very much, and God bless you all. Tosin, do you want to wrap up?
Yes, thank you, Amyn. Thank you so much. That was really lovely. People are asking, how can they get the recording of last week? Please, guys, I will just share my screen quickly so that you can go on to that link and you can receive it. So you can take a copy of the screen of this very quickly. So I just share my screen so you guys can see it again. Please take a copy of this. Join our Facebook group on the meditation group. We're going to post the recordings there. Last week, it's already there right now. And subscribe to Dr. Amyn Dahya's YouTube channel. It will also be there as well. So it's also there right now as well. So if you want to continue your meditation while you're waiting for this session, then please go and do that now, and you'll be able to get those recordings and you can start using that. It's really, really powerful. We're already using that right now as well. And please, one last favor from all of you that you've been on, as Amyn just said, all of us together, we bring our lights together, which is amazing. It's really much needed in this period. So if you can do us a favor, join the group and share that with all your friends and families as well. We'll put out a link next week for the next Saturday as soon as possible. Start registering for that ASAP as well, and make sure that we spread the word so we can reach more people and help more people as well. We would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, with that said, Amyn, I think we can conclude and we can wrap up and stop the recording when you're ready.
Thank you very much. And please, like Tosin said, invite your friends, those who you feel will benefit from what we are sharing. After all, knowledge is like a river, it must flow. And the only way this knowledge can flow is if you open channels for it to reach everywhere. So together, let's reach out to our friends, our loved ones, share this knowledge, and bring them to learn and experience. And even if 10% of what we are sharing helps change their lives in a good way, it's a wonderful change. It's a wonderful service we've done to ourselves and our loved ones. So take care, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. God bless.